immigrant under the Del Rio Bridge. And today we have the pleasure to talk to him. Ambassador Foote, how are you doing?
Very good. Good evening. Bonsoir, Manuel.
Uh,
Fine.
how do you understand the current, uh, you know, attacks against Haitian immigrants in Springfield, Ohio? There are about only 15,000 people, according to the governor. And we make headline, Donald Trump is attacking Elon Musk and JD Vance. What is your understanding?
Uh, so it started with a report. I'll just go through the mechanics. Started with a report that Haitians were killing and eating cats. Upon investigation, it turned out it was an American woman, probably with some sort of mental illness or something, who wound up killing a cat and heaven knows what. So JD Vance picked this up and decided it was going to be Haitians, despite not fact checking. As a matter of fact, I just read an article in the Washington Post that said JD Vance knew that these claims were untrue from the city of Springfield and chose to go forward with his lies and claims of hatred anyways. And once he did it, Trump picked it up and did it on a debate which was watched by 67 million people. So one out of every five Americans saw and heard this from the mouths of a former president who at this point I think is terrified. I think Donald Trump is really scared, and I think he's running scared because over the past month or two, he's seen a real reversal of his fortunes. And as a result, now he's basically promising whatever anybody wants, less higher deductions on state tax, no tax on tips. He's also in while offering what people want, he's also going against people who don't play well with the MAGA people, and those are non-white people, especially immigrants, Black, Hispanic. It's okay, I think, in MAGA land if you're from certain Asian countries or certain European countries, but I don't know who decides. It must be the great dictator himself, Donald Trump.
So,
So,
why,
so
why, yeah, you keep going, keep going.
no, go ahead. Go ahead. It's better that you ask me
So
questions.
why uh Haiti, we don't have the most immigrant groups here in the US, and we have less than 2 million people. We cannot have a bigger impact on the outcome of the elections. Why do you think he chose to attack the Haitian immigrants here?
It's the easiest target, and it's been a target since Thomas Jefferson in the 1790s made some horrendous racist claims about Haiti while the Haitians were fighting Napoleon's army, which, as you know, they won. So since then, the American psyche has heard, oh my God, they practice voodoo. They speak their own language. They they kill and sacrifice animals. It's even gotten in some circles where they talk about cannibalism and something. So we've all heard in the U.S. growing up. I heard it growing up, and but knew it wasn't true. The lies about Haitians acting like far less than the very intelligent, civilized people that they are. So it's an easy target rather than trying to reinvent the wheel with the Venezuelans or anything. The other issue is Haitians are Black, and there's way more Haitians than there is from any one African country. So they're by far the easiest Black population to demonize.
So
And
do
just
you think there's a conspiracy like against Haitian? We are paying the price just because we dared to get our freedom from on our own. Nobody gave it to us. So not only because we are Black, but that might also play a factor in that.
At this point, I don't know that conspiracy is the right word, but there has certainly been kind of an uncoordinated international effort for the past 224, 233 years, whatever it's been since the revolution started, that for some reason freed Haitian slaves are bad. And the reason is because freed Haitian slaves always threatened the rich white people up here in the United States. So it's continued to be easy to say, oh, we can't have these black people come up here and give our black people any ideas. And so it's just the perpetuation of horrendous racism. I don't know where J.D. Vance's parents come from. I'm not even sure he knows who his father is, but that hasn't become an issue in the campaign, nor should it. I know Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant. Um, However, he doesn't appear to recognize or know that. I think the United States is in trouble when Haitian migrants, desperate refugees who just got to the US, have a better grasp of what real American principles and ideals are than almost half of the United States country right now. So let me talk about American ideals and values. And I don't think these have changed. I just think that the racists were given this platform, and now, whatever, the 30% plus of racists in the country are out again. My grandparents on my mom's side are immigrants from Germany, poor as dirt when they came over 110 years ago. My grandparents on my father's side are from the United States, have been here forever, also poor as dirt, but that's more genetic than anything else, I think. I grew up with my grandparents on my father's side were racist. On my mother's side, no, because they were migrants. And then as I grew up, I saw kind of the cycle where when my grandparents came, it was at the point where it was the Germans and the Polish and the Irish were the ones who were being treated like the Haitians are now. And then I came along and I was born, it became the Vietnamese and the South Asians from India. And now it's Haiti. The latest group has always been demonized, going back to the early 19th century, or that the early 19th century. And the problem with Haitians and blacks is you're not really immigrants. You were kidnapped and brought here as slaves. So we can't even talk or treat you as immigrants. You're still facing the horrific effects of slavery after 400 years, hundreds of years after, and it's going to continue until a better effort for equality is made.
So do you think, like for the Donald Trump, he is very menacing toward the Haitian immigrants. He threatened to, deport every single Haitian citizen. And what is interesting is that the fact Elon Musk, as the richest person on earth, I
He
usually
amplifies
he,
everything Vance says and everything Trump says. Elon amplifies because Elon, an immigrant, guess what? He's a migrant. He's from Pretoria, South Africa. Also, don't know who his dad is, but it's not important. Um, if we're going to round up and deport immigrants, Elon ought to be on that bus too, as far as I'm concerned. How hypocritical is when an immigrant, a white Afrikaner immigrant from an apartheid country, comes here and tries to practice the same apartheid in the United States. And he has no interest, like Trump or Vance, in what's best for the people of the United States or what's best for the country or what's best for our national security. They are only interested in their own power and their own money.
do you think the current administration is vocal enough, like defending Haitian I heard like the FBI deployed some, additional troops. There's National Guards, and the governor announced like some additional funding and some more troops like to protect like the people. It seems like it's not the the team they sent to protect Haitian immigrants, but to protect the business of other people because they heard the Ku Klux Klan is trying to go in there. So do you think the administration is vocal enough in defending the Haitian people?
No, I mean, how could you be in an instance like with this, where they're accusing innocent, desperate migrants who came to a community where they had cousins and uncles and other Haitians had settled, and it was welcoming, and there were jobs. Um, it's very difficult for me to understand how we can't do everything in our power to stop that. I believe it's a great idea to send additional security in there. And I believe the governor of Ohio and the town and the mayor and the city manager of Springfield have all requested security assistance for everybody, not for the white businesses, not for anything. And if the Ku Klux Klan comes in there at this point in time, it's going to be ugly because federal law enforcement don't play with the Ku Klux Klan anymore, unfortunately, for the white hooded maniacs.
So you are very vocal on Twitter. Did anyone contact you trying to, understand, have a better understanding what's going on? Ask you about it. Have you ever witnessed Haitian like eating cats or dog, things like
Um, So my friends have. I haven't had. I was asked last week or the week before when Tony Blinken was down there. I did a round of interviews, but I haven't really been asked about the stupid myth of Haitian pet I don't even know what you'd call it, peticide, mascoticide, and eating pets is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. First of all, I lived in Haiti for a pretty good period, not 10 years, but significantly more than 1 year. I went all around the country. I did voodoo ceremonies. I did everything. And oh my God, guess what? Haitians sacrifice live chickens. Oh, it's terrible. But guess what? So does everybody else. And that's what we eat. I have never saw a Haitian eat or sacrifice anything other than food that we eat in the States. Poultry, beef, pig, although there's no Haitian pigs left because the US killed them all in 1982. So I've never seen that. I have told other people I lived in the Andes in Bolivia with a poor indigenous family for 3 months 30 years ago. And they fed me guinea pig every night. And it's terrible. But if you're hungry enough, you'll eat it. And I'll tell you what, had I had a cat or a dog back then, I would have been happy because I don't know what they taste like, but at least I would have gotten more meat for crying out loud. So people, Americans are closed-minded. They never walk a mile in other. I'm not saying all Americans. I'm saying this far right, fundamentalist, extremist lie and talk about bloodbaths and deportations. This segment of America does not represent Americans' ideals, and I believe they're losing the people on the margins as we go forward. And this may very well be the end of Trump. Wouldn't that be ironic if the Haitians, they've called their country, they've called your country a shithole country, Trump did. Trump would do nothing for Haiti, which is the same that Biden did, although Biden was at a point where he needed to do something. But I think it would be real poetic justice if stupid made up lies. And Vance went on the Sunday talk shows here in the US this past week and admitted that he knew the story wasn't true, but he spread it just to propagate the anti-immigrant rhetoric and the political benefit that he wanted from the story.
so do you think there are something Haitian immigrants should have done. I was talking to a couple of people. I said if he was saying the same thing about Jewish people, there would have been a lot of funding pull out, like people saying they pull their funding, even for the Arab leagues. But for Haitian, seems like nobody care. But do you think it's Haitian fault because we are not well organized enough so to give a coordinated response compared to other immigrant groups?
We've talked about the diaspora before, and not well organized doesn't begin to describe it. Despite a lot of well meaning efforts to organize the Haitian diaspora, it's extremely diverse and spread, and it's like, forgive the pun, herding cats together. So that's part of it. Whereas the Israel lobby and the Jewish lobby has been the biggest lobby in the United States for 75 years at this point in time. That's part of it. But you've also seen in the past year people coming out and protesting against Israel and the Jews, which was unacceptable and unheard of until the Hamas attack. So this whole demonizing and telling everybody foreigners are bad and crazy is becomes suddenly more acceptable in the past 3 months, I think, than it has in the past. But as we've seen in news out of Springfield and interviews with the factories around there, everyone reports exactly what we know that they would report. The Haitians come to Springfield ready to work. They're not coming to be criminals. They're not coming to form gangs. They're coming with their families, or they're coming by themselves so they can send money home to their families to work. They go to work every day. They don't do drugs. They're not away from their machines. They're highly productive. They go to church. They're active in their community, and they're wonderful citizens who respect the lives and are considerate of everybody. That's how America was built. That's how America is supposed to be. And the Haitians in the United States just need to keep being who you are. You need to be careful because I don't know what kind of threats these crazy Trump, Musk, Vance lies are fueling. So please be careful. But be yourselves. You're not fighting back, or I'm not talking about in cases of violence, but I'm talking about fighting back with the political nonsense back and forth. They're idiots. I've stopped going. They're not listening to me. They don't care. They only care about themselves. But any of us who know Haitians in the United States with a business or a church or a team, I would take a million Haitians on my team before I
So,
take an American who I didn't know right now, because so many have lost our ideals.
so do you think there is a real threat against Haitian right now in case Donald Trump became president? The situation might getting worse for us, the same way he put like the first thing he did when he became president in 2016, executive order against the Arab countries. And now
Right.
do you think he might do, you understand the administration better now, he might do something to hurt like the Asian people here?
Um, with Donald Trump, anything is possible. I've been following him since I went to New York in 1981. The guy is crazy. He's certifiably insane, but he has this like parasitic ability to survive. If he's elected, it's certainly possible that he puts a visa ban on Haitians. Although, to be perfectly honest, between the fact that the embassy's never opened down there anyways, and the fact that most Haitians who qualify for a visa are already in the States, that wouldn't have a huge impact on numbers anyways, but it certainly would impact the folks who travel back and forth. So
So
certainly
you
possible. I don't think, and he talks about rounding up a large scale roundup. Once you're in the States, he can't find you. Come on, give me a break.
So
But
you think you might move the U.S. Embassy in Haiti to Dominican Republic, close it, and say like leave some, you know. low-level members?
I don't think he's that stupid because that's what he did in Israel, as you know. He moved the embassy from its long-standing place in Tel Aviv, which was non-controversial, to Jerusalem, which is highly controversial. But that's considered to be in the same country. We can't move an embassy from one sovereign country to another by the Vienna Convention, but Trump can try anything, as you know, if he gets elected. But he's running scared and he's wounded right now, which means he's even more dangerous.
So why do you think the far right, they are most likely to attack people who are not able to defend themselves than like attacking like the real dictator? I'm talking about Elon Musk. He attacked Nicolas Maduro, he attacked Haitian, but never said anything about Xi Jinping, never said anything about Vladimir Putin. So why do you think it's so easy for them, even with all the power they have, but it's much easier for them to attack like the poorest?
Because you have no advocate. You have nobody to help you. You have nobody to fight for you because they're chicken shit. Because they won't come after Dan Foote because they know I'm going to punch him in the nose. But they know if you're a Haitian, desperate Haitian asylum seeker in the United States, you're not going to open your mouth for anything. You just want to stay under the radar, work, get your green card and go on with your life. But these guys are trying to spread falsehoods so that Trump gets elected again, so that they can do whatever it is they want to do. I don't know if it's what the heck do you call it when you weed out the black people, genetic, some kind of genetic. Yeah, who knows? Hitler just did this less than 100 years ago, and Hitler started exactly how Trump, Vance, and Musk started.
So you think we need to take them very seriously on the agenda? They're not just trying to come back on power, but they might have a bigger agenda than what they are showing now, like the
I
project
would take
2025.
it with a grain of salt. I do believe, but as I say, you can never tell with Trump. In my heart, I believe he's just making noise for political purposes. He's never empathize with anybody. So he doesn't know what it's like to get his ass kicked because he was always protected by his dad's money. He doesn't know what it's like to be poor or to have to move because your situation is terrible or anything like that. So he's just a dumb moron doing this for political reasons. And Musk and Vance are two sycophants who will do anything, repeat anything Trump says just because they think it's going to get them ahead in the world. So Trump's capable of anything. I don't think what he's saying, violence towards Haitians, immediate roundups and bans and stuff, I don't think it's going to happen, but it's not outside the realm of possibility. However, turn out and vote. To
The
all the
protest.
folks who are listening tonight, turn out and vote. There's plenty of Haitians in the swing states in the United States, and your votes could get rid of this dipshit, as
Mhm.
I will
So,
call
so
my
the, the,
former
the, the
boss, Donald
protest
Trump.
The protest against the Haitian community in Springfield, Ohio, is mostly held by Black people. And it seems like they are trying to use Black people against Haitian when Trump said they come to get to take your Black job. Why do you think it's so difficult for the Black, like American, to, come together to embrace Haitian immigrant as brothers? Why do you think this strategy is?
Because, like Haitians, Black people in the United States don't trust anybody. Would you really? No one has ever done really anything for Black people in the United States. So they don't trust anybody. They don't trust Africans. They don't trust Haitians. They don't trust their next door neighbor. But I'm seeing now, as you're a week after, that they're realizing, oh, we're not stupid. Trump is using this to divide and conquer us. We all came from being kidnapped in Africa by white devils to bring us into slavery, and now it's I we will see. But as I keep saying, I think Trump's in trouble. But you guys got to go out and vote to make sure he is in trouble.
Let's close with the situation in Haiti, although we didn't agree on that. If you don't want to talk about that, that's okay with me. Do you think we should expect something positive about the visit of Tony Blinken to Haiti? He just came to Haiti recently. I saw you have a couple tweets on that too.
Um, I think you've seen all the positive you're going to see from the Tony Blinken visit. I guess he did pledge 45 million in humanitarian aid. Any humanitarian aid to Haiti at this point is deeply needed, welcomed, and the Haitians down there are immensely thankful for it. But uh, he went down there to try to fool the Haitian people that the U.S. is committed to them again. And you guys all know that they're not. He went down to boost de facto Prime Minister Gary Conille, who I know he's a good guy. He's not legitimate. He's not who the Haitian people want. He's not productive or effective. He doesn't know security. So, like everybody else, he's going to fail. Sorry. I did see the Washington Post had an editorial today that the MSS needs more money and resources. I don't disagree that Haiti's security needs a lot more money and resources, but the MSS isn't the mechanism. You might as
But
well
it
pour
seems like you
money
on
into the
that you
bag.
were also right, right about that when you said there's no way like Kenya could lead like successfully the missions, and it seems like the same way you think things would be, and then that's what's happened right now. How do you see this multinational force in Haiti right now? Do you think there's a possibility they can succeed in Haiti?
Anything's possible, but I think this one is highly, highly unlikely. I think what you're going to see with the MSS, and what you got 400 Kenyans, and I think some Belizeans and maybe Costa Ricans and stuff came this week. So maybe you got 3, 4, 500 now. They're going to do what MINUSTA did through the last 5 years of its mission, which is sit on their base on the airport. When something bad happens, they'll go out in their armored cars. They'll stand around and won't do something, or they'll just shoot indiscriminately and kill people. And then they'll go back to their quiet little base on the airport and not really impact security. The current plan by the US is clear as day. They are trying to convert the MSS into a UN peacekeeping operation, which, as you know, is not welcomed by the vast majority of people on the west side of Hispaniola.
So
On
you think Russia and China might not sign off on that? It might not happen.
If it were to happen today, no way. But if they were, I mean, they could go in and convince Russia and China. I don't think under current conditions they could, but conditions can shift rapidly in geopolitics, as you know. Um, I just think that they're going to do what they want unless Haitians just take the country back. I mean, at this point, it's not urgent. It's not terrible. If they start teeing up another UN security mission, go back and look at MINUSTA and decide if that's the way you want your country to be run for the next 15 years. And if it is, welcome.
So what do you think? Taking the country back, what it means. So what should like you have a lot of experience working there. What do you think that means? So with the current government here, like nine president, one prime minister, and a lot of minister. So get rid of them and come up with something totally new without the international community.
So, because it's been 3 years, almost to the day, since I resigned, And because we didn't implement my plan or any plan 3 years ago, Haiti has gotten much more complicated and much worse. Where I can say right now, had we done my plan, might have worked, might not have worked, but we'd be done with it by now at least. And I think it would have worked better than what we have right now. But um, the only way Haitians are going to have any chance to accept elections, we talked about this before, is if they believe that they can live to trust whoever is administering those elections, the transitional provisional government that's holding elections, right? Like back in 1987 or back in those days. So as long, and we've done this ever since 94, every time it gets bad, we put somebody in power, they're illegitimate, they hold elections. Haitians are like, screw the elections, they're BS, we don't accept the results, and it just keeps going like that every time. The only way I can see this happening, and I don't know all the mechanics, we got to bring people in the country who represent the country and the people together in some sort of national dialogue. Going to be very complicated with the gangs nowadays. Maybe that's how the MSS could help, by helping people get in for something like that. And then Haitians need to sit around the table, yell and scream at each other, as you know they like to do, argue. And it's so bad now that nobody's really worried about their political future except the 9 presidents and the 2 prime ministers and the 3 accused of corruption on whatever this CPT is. Um, they will find a way forward. They have examples from the past and from other places on a roadmap, what's important, the makeup of a government, some sort of monitoring element that oversees the government outside of the government, so they can't just steal everything like they always do when they're answerable to the United States. If you do that, you can, and then the international community has a true legitimate partner to work with on security. We can address that. We can rebuild the Haitian security forces. The police and or army desperately need a ton of help to be able to restore security. And elections can be held. And I think if done the right way, Haitians will welcome and turn out for elections that are led by Haitians, not Tony Blinken, not Dan Foote, not Hillary Clinton, Haitians, and that the result will be much better than what you've seen.
Also,
As we've said before, it can't be worse, right?
are you surprised the State Department didn't ask for the resignation of the 3 presidential council accused of corruption in Haiti? It seems that Blinken
Of
didn't
course.
ask for that.
Yeah, that's a black guy for the whole process, and it's nonsense like this that creates the distrust. The Haitians, first of all, they've been through this. They've seen this movie before. So as soon as the U.S. got CARICOM to bring Haitians together and had this thing, everybody down there was like, oh, this is not going to work. But a lot of people, and I give them a ton of credit, and I tried not to be too negative, were like, let's give it a chance. Anything's worth a chance, right? Well, guess what? They gave it a chance. It was corrupt before it got started. And instead of making an example of accountability in Haiti and throwing them off and maybe charge them with crimes, he doesn't even mention it. That is the chicken shit. Again, it's explicit. I apologize for my language, but I feel that strongly about it. That is the chicken shit approach of U.S. policy to Haiti.
What do you think about the additional sanction? It seems like the State Department is finally tired of the Michel Martelly, Laurent Lamont. They put him on the list, like, although he might be still in the US right now. Why do you think they wait so long to come with the sanction? And do you think there's a way this sanction might be effective?
I'll take the second one first. No way, the sanctions won't be effective. Sweet Mickey has all the money he needs at this point in time. He doesn't need more. He'd like to come back and be the president of Haiti. Probably not going to happen, but he'll be fine. Yes, he's in the States. So why sanctions, which never work anyways? How about go arrest the guy maybe in Miami in his in his condo that he's got there. That'd be nice. And Laurent certainly travels back and forth, back and forth. He's got businesses in Africa, contacts in the United States. Arrest them. Sanctions are nothing but words on a piece of paper, and very rarely do are they enforced because there's not like a sanctions god running around to see who's doing business with these people.
Well, but the State Department usually ask people who are not like U.S. citizen to leave when they are under sanction, and it's surprising they let Michel Martelly stay and other people sanctioned stay. Is that because there were like rumor that they might hold dual U.S. citizenship as well? So there's a legal problem like asking
Well,
them to
no,
leave.
because Michel is not a U.S. citizen. He was a legal permanent resident, and he gave that up. Came to the embassy and gave us his green card to become president because you have to. So I'm sure he's a green card holder again. His wife's a citizen, so they can charge her in a U.S. court. They can't throw her out, but they could scoop him up today and deport him to Haiti if they wanted to.
So, is there anything you think is important that our listeners should know that I did not ask you?
As I've said many times, Haitian people in Haiti and in the rest of the world, with the exception of the huge criminal element that's in Haiti right now, are some of the most wonderful, most intelligent, most gracious, most blessed people in the world. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. Continue to fight for your rights around the world, and continue to be the wonderful, hardworking, humble, funny, very comical. Most can sing. I know you're not a good singer, Manuel, but most Haitians are good singers. Be the people that you are. Stick up for what you believe. And those of you that are in the United States, there's a lot of us that want you here. There's a lot of us here that are going to protect you. There are a lot of us that are going to reach out and punch those idiots in the mouth that are attacking you. So welcome to the United States, and let us know how we can make your lives better.
A lot of people are afraid to stand to minority group like Haitian. I think I asked you that before, but you sacrifice like a very bright career at the West. You could have been still a U.S. ambassador to this day, and you decided to resign and protest to Haiti, like the poorest nation on earth. What they like to say. Why did you make this choice, knowing that it will cost you some prestige, power, even money, and you still make it?
Lots of money. Uh, exactly what's going on now is what I did it for. People, everybody on the right is not necessarily a bad people. A lot of them are just naive and they believe what they hear. So when I see Haitians mistreated for no reason, having been welcomed into their communities by them in their own homes, it makes me highly angry, and it makes me want to make statements. The only reason I'm so involved still is because people are still treating you guys unfairly, and I'm going to keep fighting until that stops. And that means I may be doing it for the rest of my life, but that's okay because it's unfair. It's not what the US Constitution was based on. It's not what America is based on. It's not what I'm based on. So I would do it again a million times. I have no regrets, other than the fact that my acting career is a little slower to get going than I had hoped.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Foote. And like you said, now what next for you? Do you have anything like acting? I know you were playing some sport before music, and what are you doing now to keep up
I
with
do. I
your?
continue. The one good thing about resigning is I've gone from a cripple using a cane to an athlete again. So that's good. And I'm also working on helping to write a TV series based on an old movie. and trying to scheme to get a role for myself where I don't even have to cut my hair.
You might have to write a movie about Haiti, like the time you spent to Haiti.
No one would believe it. Yeah, at some point I do. And every day I think about writing a book, but then I find something else to do
Do you have any news
someday.
about Ariel Henry is still in the US now, surprisingly, and the State Department
Yeah,
said that.
how about that, right? It's fine to for him. I guarantee you, he broke all kind of rules, laws in Haiti. Still a suspect in the case, but it's okay for him to shack up here. But no, I haven't seen Ariel. He did not send me a birthday card this year, surprising.
Thank you so much, Ambassador Foote. It's a pleasure to have
Thank
you.
you so much.
That
Thanks.
was Ambassador Daniel Foote with us to talk about the current situation of the Asian migrant in Ohio in Springfield. With Ambassador Foote, we talk about the experience of the Asian people here and this political situation in Haiti as well. Ambassador Foote is, like I like to say, the biggest Haitian friend we could have in the US. Next to some of the members of the Haitian caucus and the Levin and other people. And I think it was a pleasure. It's always an honor for us to talk to him about the situation. Thank you so much, Ambassador Foote.
Thank you so much. Merci,
Bye.
MP.